Hey everyone, it is tea time with the diva. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, because we're going to get into it. This tea time is dedicated to Diddy and his team of lawyers. Yesterday, they submitted paperwork because October 3rd is literally around the corner. They submitted paperwork to the judge, asking the judge or recommending to the judge that he gives Diddy only 14 months behind bars, also mandates some counseling, I guess, for the DV, and also some drug testing and some other things they listed. But for the main piece of it is they're like 14 months behind bars is sufficient. Now the prosecutors have yet to submit their recommendation, but at the end of the day, it will be up to the judge. Let me share a screen so we can get more into the story. Let's take a listen.
Federal judge to sentence the disgraced lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs are urging a New York federal judge to sentence the disgraced music mogul to no more than 14 months in prison. Combs was convicted by a Manhattan jury in July on 2 prostitution-related charges. The judge has already rejected bail for Combs, signaling that he believes Combs must serve more time behind bars, despite being exonerated of the more serious charges against him. The Bad Boy Records founder has been jailed for nearly 13 months, meaning he'd go free almost immediately if the judge agreed. Combs is due back in court for sentencing on October 3rd.
That let me just
BetMGM Casino has the most exciting live dealer tickets.
That is why also when he didn't get bail, I said, you know what, it was probably for the better, because the longer he was in there, they can say time served when they ask for the sentence. And that's pretty much what they're doing, right? Because if he already served 13 months behind bars and you're recommending 14 months, it would pretty much almost be time served, right? So I think that even though he was denied, it kind of might have worked out for his favor. I do agree with what she's saying, though, that the fact that the judge wouldn't give him bail is kind of like a little clue and a signal as to what this judge is probably thinking, in terms of a sentence. But we shall see. So let me just continue on this article. So Sean Diddy Combs has served enough time behind bars, where he's been under constant watch, defense tells the judge. That's sad. Listen, let me say this also. It's interesting to me that every time they write an article about Diddy or they talk about him on the news, they make sure to put before his name disgraced mogul, right? Mogul. But is when you hear about these other criminals that are kind of in the limelight right now, you don't hear anything derogatory before they mention their name. I just thought I'd throw that out there. I find it interesting. Lawyers for music mogul Sean Diddy Combs urged a New York federal judge Monday to sentence him early next month to no more than 14 months in prison for his conviction on 2 P-related charges, meaning he go free almost immediately if the judge agreed. The lawyers made their arguments in a written submission to Judge Iran Submaranian, who has already rejected a proposed $50 million bail package, signaling that he doesn't believe the Grammy award-winning artist is close to being released. Mr. Combs' celebrity status in the realms of music, fashion, spirits, media, and finance have been shattered, and Mr. Combs' legacy has been destroyed, the lawyers wrote, saying their client has been punished enough. The submission provided new information about what life behind bars for nearly 13 months has been like for Combs, what happened to his businesses and other interests, and explains why he turned down a plea deal offer from prosecutors prior to his trial. Combs will learn his sentencing fate on October 3rd. Combs faces on October the 3rd sentencing after his July conviction by a Manhattan jury on 2 Mann Act charges that outlaw interstate commerce related to P. Each charge carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. You know what's interesting? I did a story on my channel last night for Trending Topics, and it was an ex-NFL player, Eric Johnson. He was convicted pretty much of RICO, racketeering, trafficking, and trafficking of young girls too. And he was given a 20-year sentence. right? And actually with his 20-year sentence, 10 is behind bars, and 10 is going to be for probation. So it's like you have someone that's convicted of such heinous acts and they get 20 years, and they want Diddy to get 20 years for the 2 Mann Act counts, which is just insane to me. The Bad Boys Records founders was exonerated on more serious racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges that would have required a minimum of 15 years in prison and the possibility of a life sentence. Now, I will say that NFL player, he pled guilty. So maybe that was part of the reason why he didn't get such a harsher sentence based on the charges of what he was charged for. In their submission, Combs' lawyers argued that a jury sent a loud message to the judge by exonerating him of the most serious charges. Put simply, the jury has spoken. Its verdict represents an affirmative indication of innocence, the lawyer said. He has served over a year in one of the most notorious jails in America, yet has made the most of that punishment. It is time for Mr. Combs to go home to his family so he can continue his treatment and try to make the most of the next chapter of his extraordinary life, they added. Prosecutors will will submit their recommendations prior to the October 3rd sentencing, have already said they urge Combs stay in prison substantially longer for the 4 to 5 years they originally thought. Defense lawyers, though, wrote in their submission Monday that prosecutors have lost all perspective. Combs' career and reputation are ruined, the lawyers say. Mr. Combs' career and reputation have been destroyed, they wrote. His life outside of jail has been systematically dismantled. Among other things, they noted that he had to let go over 100 employees from his businesses, and many of them have been unable to get new jobs because of their past association with Combs. And that's sad, right? But that happened to some of the people from the Cosby Show. Sorry, excuse me. From the Cosby Show, and other shows where people have worked with somebody that has been found to do something crazy in society. I guess I'll use those words, right? His 7 children, they said, have faced devastating consequences, including lost business opportunities in acting, television, fashion, and concerts, with some of them being included in some of the nearly 100 civil lawsuits filed against Combs since his arrest. Not 100, good gosh. The lawyers also noted that Combs and his family were set to star in a Hulu show about their lives, but the show was canceled once the allegations against him became public. Combs was removed from boards at 3 charter schools he created in Harlem, the Bronx, and Connecticut, and was stripped of an honorary doctorate degree from Howard University, which plans to return his prior donations, they said. Inmate approached Combs with a sheath, lawyers said. Meanwhile, Combs' life in prison has been harrowing at times, even as it has allowed him to become sober for the first time in 25 years, his lawyer said. Wow. Sometimes things happen. They said things happen in life for you and not to you. If this is the only way to get him sober in 25 years, I could say, wow, was it a harsh way? But life has a way. And for me, I say God has a way of humbling you and taking you down, right? And moving you out of your own way. Do I think he would have got sober otherwise? No. If Diddy was in behind bars, he'd probably be participating in a freak off as I speak. On one occasion, another inmate approached Combs with a sheath, and somebody correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, accusing Combs of sitting on the chair that the inmate wanted to sit on. Before Combs defused the situation and calmed the man and his makeshift weapon down, the lawyer said. They said he has been under constant S-watch, meaning every 2 hours he must present his identification cards to guards to show he is alive and well. I'm sorry, my screen keeps moving. And is awakened from sleep in a brightly lighted cell by a guard to ensure he is well. He also has limited access to clean water, leaving him to heat the water that he drinks to ensure it won't make him sick. And he must sleep within 2 feet of other inmates in a dorm-style room containing a bathroom and no door, the lawyers wrote. Mr. Combs has not breathed fresh air in nearly 13 months or felt sunlight on his skin, often walking with a limp due to a painful knee injury that requires surgery, they said. And the food they added sometimes contains magnets. Now, I said this 1,000 times and I will continue to say it. I think that jail is your punishment. I don't think, not just Diddy, I don't think no inmate should live in inhumane conditions. Maggots in your food, I think is inhumane. I don't know, not getting a proper medical help for any inmate, I think is inhumane, right? Jail is your punishment. I don't think that we should add another punishment on top of that, but that's a diva thought, right? Lawyers say Combs had no choice to face trial after the plea offer. Prior to trial, the lawyer said prosecutors offers Combs a plea deal that would have recommended a prison sentence of at least 25 years and requiring him to plead guilty to crimes of which he was acquitted. They betrayed their client as a changed man who has realized that the overuse of drugs, including some prescribed by doctors, had contributed to violent acts he participated in. Without minimizing Mr. Combs' conduct, this is in many ways a sex, drugs, and rock and roll story, they said. Mr. Combs, I'm sorry, guys, my screens keep me moving. Mr. Combs had severe substance abuse problems throughout the entirety of the offense conduct and participated in high-octane celebrity lifestyle. The Music Maven's trial featured lengthy testimony from two former girlfriends of Combs who said they felt forced to participate in drug-filled sex marathons with male sex workers as Combs watched and sometimes filmed the days-long encounters. R&B singer Cassandra Cassie Ventura testified that she participated in hundreds of the meetups that were referred to as freak-offs, while she was the most frequent girlfriend from 2007 to 2018. Another ex-girlfriend testifying under the pseudonym Jane said she also felt pressured to perform sexually with male sex workers while she dated Combs from 2021 until his arrest at a New York hotel a year ago. Lawyer says a sober Combs looks to a new future, unlike his past. There was also a sense of testimony during the trial about Combs beating his girlfriends and using violence in the fear of it to control those around him. Defense lawyers at trial conceded there was domestic abuse, but said the charges brought by prosecutors were not proven. While he was once so depressed in jail that there were days when he was unable to get out of his bed or even talk to the psychology department, his lawyer says he looks forward to the future. They said he has begun teaching other inmates essential skills in business management, entrepreneurship, and personal development. The lawyers wrote that the education program has become one of the most impactful and important endeavors of his life, and he hopes to expand it to state-run facilities once he is released. He is a humble man who understands that the most important things in life are his devotion to and quality time with his family and his contributions for the benefit of others, they said. Possibility of a pardon. Combs' lead attorney, Mark Anegafilo, tells CBS in July that he has not had any conversations with the Trump administration about seeking a pardon for his client after another attorney for Combs, Nicole Westmoreland, told CNN it was her understanding that the defense team had conversations in reference to a pardon. But Mark told CBS News, "I have nothing to do with a possible pardon. I had no conversations with nobody," Mark said. "I have not spoken to the president. I have not spoken to anybody who speaks to the president about Sean Combs. I have not." He said he hasn't discussed it with Combs either, except to tell him what's in the news. He says, "Go tell him, Mr. Trump, that I need a pardon," Mark said. "Go tell him I deserve a pardon." That's what he said. You know what? I will say this. It's unfortunate that the team wasn't on the same page, knowing whether or not, they asked for a pardon for Diddy, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But I will say this. If he didn't go to jail, that's why I say things happen for you and not to you. If he didn't go to jail, I don't think he would have showed up to court sober every day for this trial. I really don't, but that's my diva thought, right? So again, it's unfortunate that he had to spend his time in jail, but maybe it was needed so he could truly learn a lesson and truly become a changed man. Do I think he's changed? I think jail changes anybody. Now, what the change is, Only Diddy knows, right? So listen, I'm hoping the best for him. I'm hoping this experience does have him look at life differently and start his life over. I don't know about this judge though, and I don't know if this judge is going to give him a life sentence, but I do know we only got a few days to find out. Probably, what is it, about 10 days, and he will know his sentence. Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next video.